All right, everybody, welcome back to Breaking the Habit. We have another run here from Ozmourn. I'm really excited because I've never actually played Superliminal or seen it, so this is going to be a treat, and I hope you all enjoy the run. Should be a great time. I just want to remind you all that we are here for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and their mission is to save lives and bring hope for those affected by suicide. So please get your donations in. We'd love to see them. All support matters. $1, $5, whatever it is, it all means a lot. So thank you very much for all the donations that have been coming in. Really appreciate it. With that being said, take it away, Ozmourn, with Superliminal Glitchless.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Ozmourn. I'm going to be playing Superliminal. This is the glitchless category. This is the most popular category that we have. It's the most approachable category. And so, if you're looking for something that's like a really good beginner run, a really good run that you want to get into like for the first time, even if you've never spearrun anything in your life before, I highly recommend spearrunning this specific category of this specific game. I also am working on other categories that are like more glitched and more completionist heavy that are pretty entertaining to see as well. But this specific run is going to get you like really introduced to like the base mechanics of the game, and will just show you something that's really approachable and a lot less scary than like the glitched categories that we have. But even then, we have really good skips and really cool glitchless movement and really cool puzzle solving skills in order to make this run pretty entertaining as well. So the first thing that we're going to be doing, we're going to go straight into the first level induction. The timing will not begin when I enter this level, but rather it will begin when I walk through the first door. I'm going to be making the speedrun timer on because we do have this game in IGT, which of course removes loads, and we're going to sign the terms of service for good luck, and then we're going to walk through this door. And timing will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. So, Superliminal glitchless. What the main mechanic behind this is that perception is reality. And now, what does that mean? It means you can physically manipulate the objects in this game to be larger or bigger based on your perception. It's a perception-based game. And so, right here is a good example of this, in which you can physically make this tiny cube really large. And so by doing that, it's stuff that kind of messes up with the physics of the game like a lot, and we take advantage of that in a lot of other categories, but in this specific category we take advantage of it in like certain ways. But right here is another pretty good example. We're going to take this cheese that's really small, and then we're going to make it really large.
Whoa!
And it's going to be a ramp. And so induction itself is a really huge reset heavy level. First of all, because it's the first level in the game, because every first level is just reset hell games. But the second reason being is because it actually like legitimately has a lot of really precise movement, like the way that I just did that. And for the most part, like this is like objectively one of the hardest levels in the game when it comes to glitchless. But overall, it's still a pretty good introduction to just the basic mechanics of the game, and both in a speedrun and also casually. And right here, the game lines itself up perfectly for us as we make this sign really huge and just line it up across those two buttons right there. And we are going to be doing a very consistent strat here called dairy free, where we're going to jump on the corner of this button, and then we're going to push this wall down as it's falling over. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Whoa, okay. I did not expect that to fall down as much as it did. The reason that is called dairy free is because there is a slice of cheese that you are supposed to use in order to knock down the walls. But the reason that what I just did works is because whenever you press the button in that room, there is a scripted event that part of a wall is meant to fall down to show you like the behind the scenes. And meanwhile, that wall is falling down, the physics of that wall are kind of unlocked. And so if you push it while the wall is falling down, you can just move it out of the way. And do pretty much the exact same thing as like the cheese would do. And so that is a cool strat with a cool theory behind it that's actually really easy to do. And here it is. We are now introduced to the second level. optical. It is all about optical illusions, as the game implies. As you can see, there's these hallways that you think are just paintings, but no, they're actually full hallways. Right here, we're going to be taking this sign and making it into a ramp as such. And as is the nature of glitchless or no major glitches runs in general, the majority of the time that you're going to have is based in your movement. And a lot of the stuff that we're going to be seeing right here is just cutting corners as quickly as we can, avoiding ledge grab animations, all that jazz. And right here is a good example of our first skip in this game. And so we're going to be taking this, and then we're going to be resizing it underneath us by jump resizing like that. That is called what I just said, jump resizing, in which you take an object underneath you, and then you just click, you just jump, and then click, click, and then jump again. And we're going to be taking this door, and we're going to be using it as a ramp up here. And jump resizing in itself was actually meant to be an intended strat made by the developers. They know of its existence. Excuse me. Okay, thank you. And so that kind of shows that that was meant to be like an intended strat that we were going to incorporate into puzzles, but they thought it'd be a bit too hard for casual players to figure out. And so they decided to nix it and instead we use it as a speedrun strat. But I hope you're keeping up with me because there's a lot of visuals that are going up on screen that just happened all at once. Just as like us taking a piece of the chess piece out of the wall and just create that opening. And then we're gonna do what any natural person would do, and we're gonna grab the moon.
What?
And then there's an exit sign on the moon. We can just walk through here, and then
Whoa.
that's the end of the level.
This
So
game is mind blowing.
it is. It is. These are the games that I love to play. And so that is the end of optical. Each level is going to end in that like hallway sequence, and that will end with like an elevator going down. And so that's going to be a common theme here. And so right here, we're going to be going cubism. Now, cubism itself is, as the name implies, all about cubes. But ironically speaking, the first puzzle that we're going to be doing has a cube, but we're not going to be using it because there's a faster strat for it. And so right here, after going through this uh, dark hallway, we're going to be climbing up here and then just using this pole to get up instead. Oh, except I'm failing. Look at that. And each cube you think is going to be like a normal cube, and no, it's like a half cube. Like this cube is just cut in half. And this cube you think is going to be normal, but it's like a whole floor. And so stuff like that is kind of the common motif here of this level. And this specific level is actually like one of the most optimized things in the world in this category. Like this strat that I did right there saved like 0.2 seconds because I like didn't get a ledge grab animation when walking up. Like that's literally it. That's like all the times it has, and that's how optimized this is. And it's really one of the more easier levels to grind and improve at. And so everyone's top times or goals for this level is like are pretty close to each other. And for this specific, we can just balance our side of the cube there, so we can use it for later and jump to the next platform. And we had an exploding cube and now a giant cube here that we thought was a normal one, but actually the exit. And now we're at the end of level. And so
Holy.
right here, that is the end of cubism. And so now we're gonna go straight into blackout. Now, Blackout is where the game kind of turns the entire perception is reality motif and it turns it into a more metaphorical sense. This is where the game shifts into what might be a horror game. And so, as you can see, you walk down this hallway and suddenly the lights start flickering and there's a giant loud noise right now. Okay, I thought that was going to come a lot earlier than it did. But the tone of this game kind of shifts in this specific section to make you think that it's going to turn into a horror game. And so
Flashing light warning.
it'll start, yeah, flashing light warning there. That's not where I expected I forget that sometimes I have to put it there as well.
You're all
Uh,
good.
and so the majority of this level is going to be in the dark, right, in sections like these. But before we get to the really cool strat of this level, KatLink, if you want anything to plug, anything you want to say, you can do it before we get there right now.
Sure. We do have a little reminder here that please get your donations in. We do have some incentives with the donations. If you want to check those out, just be sure to click on the link. I will get that link for you right there. Go click on that link. Check out the incentives that you can get through donating through the charity. And please just keep on coming. I'd love to see them. Let's start like a $5 train or something. I'll start one. Here we go. Well, I'll start.
Taking initiative. We'd love to see it.
There you got to do it.
All right. Meanwhile, you're doing that. As you can see, we did have a nice strat there of us going up the handrail of the stairs, and you're going to be jumping upstairs a lot. Right here is a strat called Blind Maze. You're supposed to bring a light through this maze in order to see where you're going. But if you just know, you can just walk backwards into the maze, and now you're at the other end. Perfect. And so you can just do that without the light if you just know what you're doing. And the reason like the actual reason that I can do that in the dark without the light source is a bit less impressive. It's because if you turn your quality settings like all the way down and you're like in a relatively dark room the way that I am right now, you can see a like small little horizontal line of light when you back up into the maze and when you fall down in there. And so you can use that as kind of like a reference point for your movement in the maze. And as long as you're able to see that line, you know exactly where you are in the maze. And so that is just an easier way of getting around things. But at the end of Blackout, we did turn on the lights, and you realize that all of the blood that was on the floor is actually just red paint. All of the it is Sunday, and so they were serving beans in the cafeteria, and so there was really nothing to be afraid of. It's only again, it turns perception's reality into a more metaphorical sense, and the level is only as scary as one perceived it to be. And now we're going to go into clone, which of course, as the name implies, we're going to be cloning objects. But ironically speaking, this first puzzle that we have here doesn't involve a clone. I almost forgot to pick this back up because in another category you don't. And so right here, we're going to go straight into the real mechanics of clone, in which you can just clone objects like that. And you can create a small staircase of we can create a small staircase of stairs like that in order to get through there. That is probably one of the more interesting sections. And right here, we're going to make this clock really huge, turning into a ramp and upwards. And as you can see, the rules of cloning objects in this game are kind of like inconsistent with each other. For example, right here in this green apple room, you can actually physically pick up the green apples that you duplicate. And so with that, you can move them around, and that's how you like solve that puzzle. But in this room, and as well as other rooms, the objects that you clone, for example, this red apple, you can't actually pick them up. Like the moment that you duplicate them, they just fall to the floor. And so the rules of cloning objects in this game are different depending on whatever puzzle the game the game is giving you at the time. But of course, we as speedrunners already know how each of the rule sets work, and so it's not really much of a hassle for us. This is another one where you can just duplicate them and they'll like fall on the floor. They won't. You can't actually physically pick them up or move them around because like the puzzle doesn't require you to. And so that is the end of Clone, and then we're gonna go straight into Dollhouse, which is like everyone's favorite level. He says sarcastically. Um, it's like one of the more difficult levels in this game, but it's actually one of the more shorter levels. But the fact that it's like so deep into the run makes it uh,
Do we have time
a
to
little
squeeze
harder.
in a few donations?
We sure do. We have a bit of walking before we get into the real meat here.
Awesome. We have a donation from Marphoria with $5, getting that $5 train started. Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Saying choo choo. Hey, thank you very much, Mar, for the $5 donation. Really appreciate that. And another donation from Umbra with $10 saying this game is nuts. Thanks for running it, Ozmourn. Let's go. Thank you very much, Umbra.
All right. Thank you so much for that donations, everyone. I love to hear them. But right now, we're going to go into Dollhouse. And the main mechanic behind Dollhouse is that you're actually going to be physically resizing like the dollhouses that you walk into. And you're going to be resizing the portals that you walk into. And in effect, you're not only resizing the portals, but you're also resizing yourself.
Whoa!
And so Is that good enough? Question mark.
Oh,
It is. Okay,
oh,
thank God.
just enough.
And so, oh wait, how rude of me. I need to do the most important skip of the game, which is radio skip. And so, as you can see there, you were able to physically like make the portal bigger or smaller, but in effect, you're making yourself bigger or smaller. This is radio skip. It saves less than half a second, but is the most important skip of the run. Um, we just made that like a meme. It's the most important skip of the run. We love to see it. Right here, we're gonna play some Jenga, and knock down
No.
that Jenga tower, the fan, and then boom, we're gonna walk through that window right there. And so, as you can see, every time that I'm resizing a portal, I'm making myself bigger or smaller. And the smaller you are, the slower you move. But the bigger you are, the more likely you are to not fit like through the other end of the portal. And so it's a really, and that's like the thing that gets people the most. It's like you need to have like that kind of risk reward relationship where if like it's just you want to obviously go fast and have optimal movement, but you don't want to like just resize stuff willy nilly. Otherwise, you won't be the right size in order to get through things. But we're gonna take this bouncy castle, and these next portals we have here are going to be just walking through that keyhole, and then boom, just gonna go straight into the last level right there, straight into the last section. So that is Dollhouse. Actually, a pretty decent Dollhouse. Not gonna lie. Overall, pretty good movement. Um,
Yeah, that was really
and
good.
that was decent. That was decent. And so Labyrinth is probably the craziest level to look at casually, and it's also a really interesting thing, and a really interesting level in the speedrun. First of all, we're going to be doing right off the bat a skip, and this skip is called audio skips. In that there you just saw me do what looks like senseless parkour, but the reason I did that is because there are five audio lines in this hallway, and we have found a way to skip over two of them. Or skip over three of them. I'm about to skip over one of them right now, but only skipping over two of them actually saves any time. And so you saw me like I physically jumped over the audio triggers right there, and so the lines will never activate. And the reason we want that to happen is because we want the last line to activate. Because at the end of the last line, it'll teleport us to like the rest of the level, and so we can just continue right there. I am not playing with audio or subtitles on, which is the ballsiest thing you can do because you just kind of have to hope that you got them, and the game just doesn't tell you because you don't have subtitles on and you don't have audio on. And but I can tell that I did get both of them. So shout outs to that. And right here, you're going to be seeing me doing some lineups right here. You're going to get teleported back to this room in order to click the alarm clock. And you're going to be doing that three times. And I'm lining myself up with specific parts of the wall because your vertical positioning doesn't change, but your horizontal positioning does. Right here, we're going to do a frame perfect trick. Um, get it? Because we went perfectly through the frame.
Ba-doom-tsh.
Shout out to Hippienator for that amazing joke that I like to steal from him every time that I do this run. But right here, we're going to go straight into the rest of Labyrinth. We're going to see if we can get like an early door grab here as we fall down this hallway, which we did. Let's go. This door is on a timer and will only activate once the sign falls down. And so you can like grab it early before you fall into the room through the door frame. And so like the timer will just go by faster. But right here, again, this is the level that's all about subverting your expectations. You're meant to fall down through this hallway, and then you're gonna take these stairs and just fall through the floor. Um, because like, what else would you use stairs for? Climbing up? No, we're gonna go down. But right here is actually the hardest puzzle of the game casually because the game it just has poor direction, and you're supposed to look the opposite direction of the way that the sign is telling you, because every way that you look first is going to have the stop, do not pass, no trespassing sign, and then the second way that you look is going to have like a door, and so you want the door to always be facing the way that the arrow is, and so that is how you solve that right here. It is another um, interesting jump resizing strat in which you go straight down the middle and use one cube instead of two in order to go through that room efficiently. And we're gonna take this knight. I'm just gonna leave it here on the table. just for fun. And then these next few sections are just us going through and collecting these cues that will bring us to different sections. So just that. And this next section is called Elevator Maze. A lot of people think that this maze is RNG, but we do have a set pattern that allows us to get through the fastest. Back, left, right, left, back. And then
Boom.
boom. That maze, the intended solution is to just get lost in the maze until you find arrows on the floor that tell you where to go. But instead we have a pattern here. And right here in this parking lot, you think that it's an actual parking lot. Surprise, there are walls. And you actually do not have to be facing the walls in order to activate them. And so we take advantage of that by walking backwards, and then suddenly, boom, the room appears, and you can actually click this alarm clock from like super far away. And then that is the end of Labyrinth. This is the last level. I did say there's a photosensitivity warning for this last level at White Space. And the first thing that we're gonna do in White Space is we're just gonna create a paradox, as one does. And we are essentially what we did was we put a portal into itself, which is in fact a scripted event in this section. But again, this is a huge photosensitive part of the game. These like last 5 minutes, there's going to be a lot of bright lights, a lot of flashing lights, and so I watch with caution, I'd say. However, ironically speaking, though, this is actually the longest level in the game because you can't like clip through walls and can't do glitches. Of course, in the glitches category, but in literally any glitched category, this is actually the shortest level in the game, with the world record being like 16 seconds. Because in the physical level geometry of the game, the end of the level is placed right below the start of the level. And so we found a way to just get to the end level trigger as quickly as we can. But in Glitchless, of course, we can't do that. We have to actually play the game. And right here, we are going to reset the checkpoint. The reason that I do that is because the portals in this section that lead you from one part of the level geometry to the next is like really weird in the sense that your normal default size is supposed to be size 1. But when you walk through that specific portal before the checkpoint, you're at size 0.98. And if you reset checkpoint, you'll get put back to size 1. And so that'll allow you to be slightly bigger throughout the rest of the level, and you're going to walk slightly faster. And ironically speaking, the rest of the portals in this section will actually continue to make you larger. The portals in this game, in this specific level, are weird. But with that being said, there is a fair bit of walking before I get into the next interesting strat that I want to talk about. So, KatLink, if you want to say anything, you can do so right now.
Sure thing. We actually do have another donation from LP himself with $5 saying, let's get this $5 train going. Yes, let's go. Let's get some more $5 trains going. Let's go.
Mm,
Thank you very much,
you
LP. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to everyone. If there's anything else you want to plug, you can. There's about like a few more seconds of walking here.
Actually, if you would like to plug anything for the run itself or for you personally, anything you'd like
Yes.
to shout out.
Um, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Ozmourn. I am Ozmourn on pretty much all platforms, and that includes twitter.com/Ozmourn. That's it. YouTube Ozmourn, Instagram Ozmourn. Like I'm just Ozmourn and everything. And so I occasionally stream, and for the most part, I do a lot of my streaming stuff offline. But I've been trying to be more active on Twitter as well. And so you can just follow me on those socials for that kind of stuff. And chances are I'm like doing a marathon like every weekend. So if you wanted to see my marathon stuff more, you can check out. You can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. I've been meaning to start promoting that more. But right here, after we had turned off those lights, you saw that I moved to the right, like turned around instead of just walking backwards. You need to make sure that when you turn off the lights, you do move your mouse because otherwise your crosshair will not come back. You can still pick up objects, you just won't be able to see your crosshair. And so right here, we're going to do something called one chess piece or one piece right here, in which you will grab one chess piece, and these tiles on the floor are only ever solid if a chess piece is on them, which means that I right now am like jumping and then moving the chess piece from one tile to the other in midair. Instead of doing the intended solution, which is of course alternating two chess pieces between each other. And right here, we're going to do another skip known as cheese skip. There's usually a cheese, a slice of cheese used as a ramp. Dear Lord, look at that. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Believe it or not, if you fail that and you fall down the way that I did, it is still faster to just jump resize up instead of grabbing the cheese. And so if you're consistent with it, this is especially a photosensitive part. Yeah.
Woohoo!
This is the bitrate hallway, as we like to call it. But right here, it's just your camera is just duplicated on all these walls. But right here, you can finally look back. The photosensitivity warning is gone. And now we are falling down, and it is going to. This is a 23-second fall. It is exactly 23 seconds. And we're gonna wait for it to turn to 8 a.m. At the end of this level, we're gonna fade to black. There's gonna be a loading screen, and at the other side of the loading screen is when time is gonna be. And so get ready on time. Let's see here. 3, 2, 1, and time. 22:50.9. That is actually a pretty good time. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
It's about a minute off my PB, but it's still pretty good for like a marathon setting. And so I'm happy with that run. I'm happy with that run for sure. But that is Superliminal Glitchless. I'm hoping in the future to show off like other categories more at marathons as well. Where I'm currently working on an all collectibles category. And so or working on the all collectibles category. That is a really good category for like completionists. And if you're more interested into glitched runs, this specific run that I showed you, like I mentioned at the beginning of the run, it is much more beginner friendly. I showed you pretty much the basic mechanics of the game and how we use it in a speed run, and it is probably one of the easiest speedruns to learn, in my opinion. And it's something that attracts a lot of people. Like we get newcomers in like all the time. And so we have a really large leaderboard on the glitches because of it. But there's categories for all types of people that like all types of speedruns, glitch categories. If you want to torture yourself and do any percent, you can. We will judge you. Not really, but we will question your choices. And because like no one wants to do any percent. Like, that's that category. Like just the fastest way that we do warps in this category is just so difficult. But I highly recommend picking this game up. It is on Steam and it's on Epic Games Store. It is on GOG. It is on every single console you can imagine. And so I highly recommend picking this game up, no matter what platform you have it on, or whatever your play style is. It's a really lovely community, a really welcoming community. Shout outs to everyone in it. And shout outs to the verifiers and the moderators and make it a really safe and wonderful place. Shout outs to literally like everyone in that community. It's absolutely amazing. Look us up on speedrun.com, join the Discord, all that jazz. You know what to do. You've heard this spiel from a million different speedrunners a million different times. But again, I cannot emphasize how much I highly recommend picking this game up, even just casually. Albert She did an amazing job of this game. And thank you so much to everyone at Breaking the Habit for allowing me to show this game off at this marathon. It is like a game and a community that I hold really close to my heart. And so having it shown off and having maybe more people see what this run is like is something that I will never pass up the opportunity to do. So again, thank you so much to everyone for watching. My name has been Ozmourn. I really hope that you enjoyed this marathon, and I really hope you enjoy the finale of Mario Party. So I highly recommend sticking around for that. But I've been Ozmourn. This has been Superliminal Glitchless, and I will see you all around. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Osmond, for that amazing, mind-bending run. My goodness, I was just in disbelief of everything. That was so cool. But thank you everybody for sticking around. Just keep sticking around though. Don't touch that tab because we're going to be taking a short break and preparing for the finale. So now is your time to get your donations in for the final run here. It is a race, or it's just I think I'm not sure if it's a race or whatever it is. We're all going to hear and have a good time. Sorry, I'm still waking up. But stick around, and we'll see you in just a moment.